you can't afford not to. I mean, a lot of people kind of bring up the idea of like, I can't afford it. There's a huge, with successful entrepreneurs, they understand the value of time. So there's huge opportunity cost with not taking action.
Hey, what's going on? Joel Irway here. Welcome to another very special episode of Sold with Webinars. Today, I've got a very special guest who I'm extremely excited to talk to and extremely excited to share the stage with, Sam Mollaei, who I connected with. We just had this pre-conversation. Apparently, it was 3 years ago. I thought it was like a year ago, but that just explains how fast time flies. I am so excited to have this conversation. Sam had joined our high ticket courses program a couple of months ago, and it's been incredible to see his progress and his success going through this whole progression. And I reached out to him because I had been targeted with one of his ads, even though I'm not in his niche, but that just so happens to be what it is. I'm like, oh, look, there's his mini webinar funnel. I want to reach out and just see how things are going. Turns out he's doing extremely well. And so I wanted to have him come on the podcast and share his journey, share his story. So Sam, welcome to Sold with Webinars, my man.
Thank you so much, Joel. Appreciate it.
So Sam, why don't we start? Tell us a little bit about your background and tell us a little bit about the niche that you serve.
Sure. So I'm a lawyer, been an attorney for 5 years. But I pretty much went on my own right away, and I had to figure out how to get clients. And at the time, I had no idea how to get clients. So I'm like, let me just create a website and let me just write some blogs and try to get clients that way. And then I got exposed to the whole world of funnels about 4 years ago. It was really life-changing at the time because it showed me that it is possible, first. And second, it was a very systematic way to get clients. So I'm like, let me apply these concepts of funnels to my law firm. So I did that for 4 years. I was basically trying to figure out how can I apply funnels to my law firm to get legal clients. And fast forward 4 years later, I basically tried out hundreds of different kinds of funnels. And I was able to create a bunch of funnels that I was able to generate clients from, either sending them directly to a sales page or try to get bookings. And then fast forward 4 years later, I was able to generate at least $2 million of legal services through the use of funnels. And me and Joel actually had a conversation 3 years ago. And there's there's a lot of people in this space, a lot of people that do marketing. And it's very rare to find somebody, first of all, genuine and real, who really wants the best for you guys. And when I had this conversation with Joel, that really stood out. Is that he didn't necessarily need anything from me. He was just really there for me. And that really stood out in my mind. And also, I knew also that he knew what he was talking about, because everything was teaching and everything was preaching was right. It made sense. So when I had that conversation, I actually put Joel on top of my list. I was talking to a bunch of experts at the time, trying to see who I could work with. And then, I pretty much went back to my own ways and, try to go back to funnels and, doing more of that. And then about a couple of months ago, I received the 2 Comma Club Award as the first attorney to do so. And at that time, it was kind of like a mental shift. For me, it was kind of like I proved the concept with funnels. Now let me go try to teach it to other lawyers to do the same. And then I saw one of Joel's posts saying, hey, pretty much if you'd like to join our high ticket courses, now's the time. So I right away within a couple of days, I signed up. And as soon as I opened up the course, I realized this is exactly what I needed, because I think it was about a year or two that I was struggling with kind of creating webinars and spending so much time creating a full-on webinar. And I tried different things. It took me a while to write the script, and I had to record it. And I realized creating a mini webinar is so much more powerful. First of all, it's just easier to get it up and running. It doesn't take long to just get the mini webinar up. And if your offer is good enough, then it doesn't matter. The way I see it is, it doesn't matter if it's a webinar or a mini webinar. So that kind of, the course went straight to the point of, giving me the funnel, giving me the correct slides, and just getting it up and running. And I did it as soon as pretty much I took the course, I applied it and started putting some Facebook ads in front of it. And the fact that the offer, also something else that Joel teaches, is your offer has to be kind of high end, which is the way to go. I realized there was a big realization. That was also one of the secrets that you revealed to me, Joel. that really was also a breakthrough, that if I do get a client that's $5,000 or more, that makes the marketing much easier, just because you have so much more to spend and go get more of it. And now fast forward, I'm at the point where I spend about $2,500 in Facebook ads, and I generated $80,000 in a matter of a couple of weeks. And it's just the beginning. It's just like the first stage of, doing Facebook ads. Now there's, other traffics and other ways I could scale out. So thanks to you, Joel.
Spent $2,500 to make $80,000. That's amazing. That's really cool. Yeah. So what, I want to kind of dive into, so you work with lawyers, teach lawyers how to build funnels. What were you doing? You kind of briefly touched on it, but I want to dive a little bit more into this. Like, what were you doing before jumping into high ticket courses? Like, you were still trying to get clients in this realm, right? Or what were you doing before you joined the program?
I first started off with the audience. So at least I was, I think, smart enough, instead of trying to go create the offer or create the course. You don't, as you teach, Joel, right? That's not the way to do it. So I started off creating the audience first, and I was doing that in the beginning. So just for 6 months, I was just nurturing and adding value to a Facebook group, so that when I did have something to offer, then I would have a list to sell to. And that really was a game changer. Focus on the audience first, and then go create your mini webinar funnel, and then do your thing.
Cool. Yeah. So just to be clear, so I actually don't do audience first. Like, I just go straight to the offer. But if you do have an audience, like, it's like, I want to just make sure that I'm very clear. Like, I'm not trying to break the rules of marketing. Like, if you have a warm audience and you make an offer to them, like, it's going to work much better. But so many people build an audience the wrong way. They build a bunch of freebie seekers the wrong way. So that's kind of why I go the opposite. Like, I lead with the offer first before I build an audience. And then I do bottom of funnel content first, which is your conversion mechanism. Then you build the warm and the whole 9 yards. So, but if you've got an existing audience, it works phenomenally well too. So what would you say is the biggest light bulb moment that occurred for you? Like, what was that one thing?
Yeah, I think it's just being able to simplify, the fact that you simplified the entire process of having a very simple funnel and a very simple mini webinar. That really was the breakthrough, is that not to make it too complex and too complicated to get it up and running. And yeah, that's what it was. I think I was stuck too much on trying to figure out what do I say in my webinar. That really was what I was stuck at. So yeah, that's what it was, simplifying everything.
Fine. Perfect. And explain again what your offer is. It's a group program, correct?
Yeah, it's live coaching. It's 6 weeks, 6 modules. So I basically get on Zoom, and very systematically, I teach lawyers how to create their own funnel, and also teach them how to automate the entire process as well.
And had you validated this idea before you joined the program?
Yeah, I did. I first started off, so when I had this community a couple of months ago, I basically had a live webinar, and I basically did a pitch for them, a limited time offer. And from that, I basically signed up like about 15 students. So that was like a proof of concept for me. That is that my offer makes sense. Now let me use Joel's funnel to go scale that out using Facebook ads.
Perfect. So did you have any hesitations, like before you committed, before you joined the program? Like, did you have anything that was kind of like in the back of your mind, like itching at you to say, oh, is this really going to work? What hesitations did you have before you joined?
I mean, the typical hesitations, is it worth it, is it not? But I think one of the things that really helped me was one of your past students, Steven Mayer.
Yep.
Billing Consultants. He's actually one of my good friends, and he's a very good affiliate partner to one of my law firms. First of all, he's an amazing guy himself, and two is he was doing exceptionally well with his own business. And I saw his funnel, and I'm like, wow, this looks like very particular. And I was like really intrigued by it. And then lo and behold, when I saw Joel's course, I'm like, wait, Steven is actually one of Joel's students. So that for me was like, okay, this is it. This is exactly what Steven did, and I'm going to apply the same exact thing for myself.
Yeah. talk about your sales process, right? So one of the things that trips a lot of people up is, they get the idea of like, okay, I want to build a webinar. I don't want to get on the phone with people. I don't want to sell them. Like when I talk to course creators, it's a little bit more difficult for them to kind of grasp the concept of, doing phone sales, air quotes, right? How is this like, are you trained in phone sales? Or like, how has this process been for you in terms of enrollment? Is it more difficult? Like what's your experience with the sales?
Great question. I'm glad you asked this. So I don't do any of the sales at all. I'm not a salesman. I know this about myself. I'm more like behind the scenes, creating systems, doing those things. So I'm very conscious of that. And I'm sure a bunch of your listeners, about a third of your listeners are the same way. So if that's the case, you got to surround yourself or go hire salespeople who can take on the calls. So what I did was I had this document that I basically put the entire offer there. I put all the possible objections, and any kind of marketing material or anything else that could be supportive, like supporting information that somebody else can just go and learn and then become my salesman. And then I basically hired a sales agency who take on the calls for percentage for commission. And it's great. I'm like so happy. I'm like, I've never been happier. Even there's like some potential leads or potential clients that know me personally. I'd rather even just hand it off to them and let them talk to my sales team than me trying to get on the phone and try to do my thing to try to save a percentage of the sales or whatever like that. So completely, if you feel that, if you're like that and that's holding you back, just delegate that part of your business.
That's what a real business owner does. Delegate, 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 right? So what's next for you? Where are you taking this? I mean, you've got, your first group of, I don't know if it's your first group, but you've got a group right now that you're working with. Like what's the future look like for this offer?
Sure. It's our second session. So we have the live coaching, and then we also have the recorded course. And then I also do have the done for you. So I'm going to find the right partners for that, people that I trust, that, if my name is attached to me actually building this out for other lawyers, pretty much partner up and then have that offer, that high end offer, probably 25K or more. But at this time, I think I'm doing a focus mostly on building the funnels for myself and teaching other lawyers.
Yeah. So are you planning on scaling this out on the do-it-yourself side? So are you going to build a course, or are you going to really just kind of focus on scaling your mid-tier offer?
Yeah, it's going to be more scaling out the mid-tier offer, but at the same time experimenting and seeing whether the high-end offer also works well or not. But that one has to be, again, a very controlled environment. Try to lower the risk as much as possible. But yeah, definitely that one has, I think if you need to go from 7 to 8 figures, you need to have that offer in your offerings. If not, it's going to be hard to get to that 7 figures.
What was the price point of your mid-tier offer, your mid-ticket offer?
Yeah, 5K.
5K. Yeah. Cool. Are you planning on raising the price of that?
Yeah, definitely. Actually, every session we're planning on going up about 2,500. So next session, we even tell our people it's going to be 7,500, and then 10K, and then go above that. I think it's definitely worth the value is definitely at least 10K, if not more. So yeah, definitely.
Awesome. So if you were to talk to somebody who was kind of on the fence about this, like what would you tell them? Like what would your advice be to them who is considering joining the program? What would be your advice to them?
Is that the advice is you can't afford not to. I mean, a lot of people kind of bring up the idea of like, I can't afford it. There's a huge, with successful entrepreneurs, they understand the value of time. So there's huge opportunity cost with not taking action. So if, I just said, the easy way to calculate it is if you were to take Joel's course and you were to apply it, be able to apply it in 3 months, let's just say you set a goal for yourself that you should expect to make this much money. If you do not make that much money, that means you're technically losing that much money. And then that's the way you got to kind of look at it. So what's the cost for you to not to take action is a bigger thing to point at, is to really figure out for yourself. Understand, sometimes you have things are holding you back, but if you look at the case studies, here are stories that really kind of gives you the push to realize that, hey, it is possible. Just, it's all, Joel will hand deliver to you. You just have to go apply it for yourself.
Awesome. Well, dude, is there anything else that we kind of left out that you wanted to share? I mean, you have an incredible story. I mean, we connected 3 years ago, so our sales cycle is very long time.
Yeah, and that's how it is. And I even told Joel, I think I remember in my for our conversation, when I find those individuals that I know are kind of in it for the long term, and they're not just in it for short term gains, I would say, hey, listen, I'll try to make a decision, but if not now, I'm not going anywhere, and I'm also not going anywhere. So I'm sure I'll be in touch with you. I remember saying something like this, basically, even if not now, later, and that really happened. And so you want to build those relationships, in a positive a positive way, because it's long term. Nobody's here. If you're here for short term, you're not going to last for long anyways. So what's the point? But something I do want to share is that if you are an attorney, or if you are in law school and you're interested about applying marketing and funnels, things like that, definitely look me up, Sam Mollaei, or just search Legal Funnel. I have a Facebook group for lawyers where I teach all these concepts. I provide a lot of value up front. And then I'm also open to mentoring and teaching. So if you're interested, just let me know so we can talk.
What's the link that we can drop?
It'll be legalfunnel.com.
Legalfunnel.com. Nice. I feel like that domain is going to be worth some money someday. So
yeah, actually, I have a fun story about that. So when I got exposed to all these funnels, I'm like, the idea of teaching lawyers came to me actually 3 years ago. And I looked it up and I saw that the domain was taken by somebody who wasn't using it. So I contacted them, but I couldn't be too aggressive. So I was like, hey, nonchalantly, I was just like, email, hey, are you interested in selling? Anyways, it took me 3 or 4 months, and I ended up buying the domain for $500. And after he handed it off to me, he's like, so what are you going to do with it? And I realized by his question that he probably didn't even know what a funnel was, or else he would have held on to it. So yeah, it was something that I kind of had foresight from 3 years ago to kind of do this in my future, and it came to fruition thanks to Joel.
Awesome. Well, Sam, I'm glad that we got to connect. I'm glad we got to share your story. Super excited for your progress. Super excited for everything that you've got going for you. I mean, obviously, none of this works if you don't have a good offer and you don't actually provide value. I want to make that very clear. I'm not here to sell ice to Eskimos, right? You got to bring to the table something of value to the marketplace, and we can help you get that out into the world. But it's always great to connect with, the rock stars and the people who are just crushing it and knocking it out of the park. So Sam, it's great to connect. And for those of you who are listening right now, go connect with Sam. If you're in the legal space, head up to legalfunnels.com, connect with him, let him know you heard him on Sold with Webinars, and just let him know you appreciate it. Appreciate him sharing his info, being open and honest with everything that he's got going on. And we'll see you all on the next episode. Take care.